Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about why e-commerce brands are struggling to make profit in the current market, particularly net profit, and what they can do to fix it. I wanted to jump on and just pretty much spitball today because I saw something about Gymshark making 2% profit. They literally made 2% net profit. They did about 13 million pounds, ignore the dollar sign, it's in pounds, 13 million pounds in net profit from 550, $600 million in sales. That is a crazy low net profit margin, as I'm sure you're all aware. And it really surprised me, and it sort of got me thinking, like, this is honestly a lot more common than people think. People say, they see e-commerce, they see brands killing it in e-commerce, and they go, wow, they must be making a shit ton of money, because honestly, you just see so many drop shippers flexing screenshots. Like, you see every sort of drop shipping guru trying to sell a course flexing their 100K, 200K, 300K screenshots. You even see all the e-com guys, like people who are going into mentoring. Like, they flex their revenue figures and say, look how much money I'm making. But it just could not be further from the truth. In any sort of business, like operating at 25 to 30% net profit is considered good. Like, if you have a company operating at 30% net profit, you're doing a good job, especially in most industries that have like cost of goods, etc. But in e-commerce specifically, which is traditionally meant to be lean teams, cheap costs, cheap overheads, people are struggling. Like, you'd struggle to find a business with margins above 10 to 15% for these big companies. So for every company making $100,000 a month, their founders would be taking home less than 100K a year, probably. Like, it's pretty crazy out there. And we're going to talk about why and what people can do to start fixing this, and how they become more profitable. So for anyone who doesn't have a background in accounting, which I do, I was in accounting well before I got into marketing. So you have your revenue, then you'll have your gross profit margin, and then you'll have your net profit margin. What influences these two things is different. So you'll have your top line revenue, which is just sales. And then before your gross margin, you'll have, why won't that let me do a minus sign? You'll have cost of goods sold. So this is your shipping costs, cost of the product, etc. Then you'll have minus like discounts. Then you'll have minus returns. And that'll be your gross profit margin. So your gross profit margin is essentially how much does it cost you to get the sale, essentially, or how much does it cost you to get your product to whoever's purchased it. So for people like this, like I think Gymshark even had like a 60% gross profit margin, like pretty high. But then before your net profit margin, you have stuff like marketing, wages, trademarks, insurances, rent, whatever. So all of that has to then be paid for before you get to your net profit margin. And costs like these are becoming more and more and more expensive. Traditionally, these are fixed costs. The only one that could possibly like go into before gross profit is maybe your marketing costs, because if you're running Facebook ads or you're running traffic ads, it's going to be that is going to go up as you scale. Like, if you want to make more sales, you need to spend more on Facebook ads and stuff, hypothetically. But all of this stuff usually isn't tied to the amount of sales you're making. Maybe there's an argument for, like, when you're renting a warehouse, maybe you need to move into a bigger warehouse when you cross a certain barrier or stuff. But for the most part, the expenses you incur at the gross profit level are going to be the ones that increase as you make more sales. You've got to spend more money on products because you're selling more. You're probably giving more discounts away. You're probably getting more returns all as you scale. Other times you can't help these. Like, cost of goods is just cost of goods. Like, provided that they're getting the best deals in the market, well, then there's not a lot they can do. Like, if you're going to assume that they're getting the cheapest possible products and stuff, like, there's not tons you can do there. But these are meant to be your fixed costs. So they're not supposed to go up as you scale. And as you scale, the relative percentage of how much these are costing you is supposedly going to get cheaper, right? So if your sales is $100 and your wages is $10, at the $100, your wages is 10% of your sales. but your wages is going to stay at $10 even if you're making $200, and then it's only 5% of your sales. So you're beginning to scale, and then your margins are becoming better at the fixed cost level. All right, so that's how it's meant to work. But you have these brands who are operating at 2%. And why is that? Because these fixed costs are ridiculously high, because the cost of marketing is becoming more expensive. So let's rattle off a few reasons why these brands are struggling with that. So, and that's going to help us understand what we can do to fix it. So marketing costs is going up. I don't know how to do arrows on this. You got your marketing costs going up. Cost of talent is going up. Like hiring quality talent is getting more and more ridiculous. And then there's lots of like brands getting burnt by shitty marketing agencies. So the barrier to entry, so how hard it is to become a marketing agency, is lower than ever. Like you got everyone like Iman Ghazi and all that promoting like SMMA, all of that. So you got all these kids in their mums' basements who are becoming marketing agencies who are just charging like, $4 or $5 a month retainers. They're winning a few, like they watch some guru shit. They're winning a few sales. They're getting clients, and then they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. They have no idea how to scale. They get bad results. Bang, ecom brand has just wasted 5K, and if they've had them for 3 months before they realize, they've wasted fucking 15 grand on this shitty marketing agency. Obviously, at the level that Gymshark's operating at, $15,000, negligible expense, but they're spending tons of money on trying to get quality talent. Their marketing costs are going up because competition's at an all-time high, and it's just insane. Like it's becoming more and more expensive. If any ecom brand owners are watching this, you would understand exactly what I'm talking about. So what does that mean? It means obviously we need to make more profit. Rocket science, isn't it? We need to make more profit. So how are you going to do that? You're either going to reduce your costs, or you're going to increase your sales without increasing your fixed costs. Obviously, if you're increasing sales and you're just spending more and more on fixed costs, then like you're just going to it's the same profit margin. It's the same percentage. Making more money if the costs are growing in proportion is not going to make your profit margins better. So we're going to focus on increasing sales, because I don't know the ins and outs of these businesses. I'm not going to tell them how they can reduce their costs. Maybe if they can negotiate better deals with suppliers, they can cut some staff, maybe spend less money on wages, scale back a few warehouses, whatever. They can be a bit more lean. That's how they're going to reduce their costs. But to increase sales, we need to focus on the e-commerce formula. Now, the e-commerce formula is revenue equals your average order value times traffic times conversion rate. So we need to increase this without spending more money, right? To get more traffic, that requires more money. Traffic is a cost. Like, unless you're going viral organically, which, that's a whole nother story, and it's not my wheelhouse. But unless you're going viral organically, this is a variable cost, i.e. going to get more expensive as you get more of it. So we don't want to focus on traffic, because that's going to cost us more money. If we're trying to make more revenue, some of these need to increase. So we have revenue. To increase that, we need to increase at least one thing on this end of the formula. If we can't do traffic, we need to focus on average order value and conversion rate. Now, the other thing that this equation doesn't factor in is the lifetime value. Because if you're paying for, like, say I'm a customer and I've just come into a business, you only need to pay to acquire me once. Every time I come back is a lot more profitable, right? So we also need to focus on the lifetime value, because if people are coming back, the cost of this traffic is a ton cheaper. The cost of returning traffic is negligible compared to new traffic. So if you're trying to get new traffic, you're going to have to pay like $30 for, to acquire a customer on Facebook ads or whatever. But if you're trying to get returning customers over email or SMS, the cost of that becomes insignificant compared to it because the cost of marketing over email is ridiculously cheap. So we want to focus on average order value. And I don't necessarily know how to factor in, like in a math sense, the lifetime value into this equation, but it's going to be to do with the costs of the traffic. Conversion rate, we're not going to talk about. But let's say we're keeping conversion rate, we're keeping it consistent. Conversion rate is the same. If you increase your conversion rate, you'll also make more money straight away. But the cost of hiring a CRO agency and stuff, there's that too. But if there's quick fixes in your conversion rate, you're going to make a shit ton more money. But how can we increase AOV and lifetime value, LTV? So we want to increase, to make more money without increasing our costs. We want to make people buy more when they purchase with us. So increase their average order value, and then increase the lifetime value. So increase how often that person comes back and buys from us and for how long. Because these two increases don't come with an increase in variable costs. You have already got the customer to check out. So if they're spending $10 or they're spending $100, it's going to cost you the same amount of money in terms of your fixed costs. The only thing that's going to change is how much of the product you need to supply. So the cost becomes negligible. It becomes a lot cheaper as you scale up that way. So increasing AOV and LTV means that your acquisition cost, sorry, it doesn't mean, but is good, as acquisition cost is now a sunk cost. A sunk cost means that the cost of acquiring a new customer is the same and it's not going to increase. We've already paid that fee to get that person to the website using our Facebook ads. We have already spent that $30. If we can alter how much they're going to buy and then alter how much they're going to come back to buy from us, then we still only paying that $30. You know what I mean? So all of those extra sales are at a significantly cheaper cost. And you're going to do this. You're going to do this through email. Email and SMS. This is going to be the cheapest way to remarket to these people. Now, you can also let's give a few options here that are besides email and SMS. I'm biased. I'm an email marketer. But you'll have your cart / checkout, upsells, direct mail stuff, like if you're posting them shit, retargeting ads. These are all ways to bring people in and increase average order value, increase lifetime value. But we want to do this through email and SMS as it's the cheapest way to do this. So this involves post-purchase email / SMS flows. So that's a good thank you flow, upsell flow, cross-sell flow. Let's make this a bit bigger. VIP flow, win back flow, all of those things, replenishment reminders. These are all going to be ways to set up flows so that we can increase the lifetime value of our customers. They're going to come back more often because we're hitting them with good emails at the right time. Now, we want an immediate upsell flow also. So as soon as someone buys from us, we want to hit them with a discount code. Hit them with a discount code to add more to cart. You can do that over email or SMS, and that's going to increase our average order value straight away. We had one brand, we added like $5,000 to their top line, which was like a 5% increase to overall revenue at a significantly cheaper cost because the ads are already a sunk cost just by doing this. So they would, say they're making $100K a month in revenue. And without any additional costs, we added one email, which costs nothing, to email everyone who buys straight away, giving them a discount code to buy more products. So the only additional cost there is the 10% discount code we gave because they've already spent the money on acquiring the person that ads. So it's significantly cheaper to get them to buy more goods at that point in time, even with a discount. So That alone is going to add, that added 5% to their top line. Massive numbers. You apply that to a huge business, that is a massive change in just a month. Then, campaign strategy. We want maximize for retention. How do we do that? Valuable campaigns, giving people a reason to open emails. 80% of the time, not trying to sell. And this is exactly how you're going to use email marketing to avoid making 2% net profit. Obviously, if you're a business and you've got just fucked like fixed costs, nothing's going to save you, and you're going to need to like find a way to cut your costs. But it's expensive out there. Marketing costs are going up, costs of talent going up, agencies becoming more expensive. You're trying to break through the noise. But most of all, you want to run a profitable e-commerce store. Well, you're going to need to look at this formula. You look at this formula and you need to work out what levers you can pull to apply leverage to your store. So you want to increase your revenue. And if you're going to increase your revenue, how are you going to do that? Average order value, traffic, conversion rate. Traffic costs money. So a lot of the time, that's not going to improve your profitability. Like paying for more traffic, unless you can find better ads, it's not going to improve your profitability. Maybe you can go viral organically. That would be a good play if you knew how to do that. Otherwise, we need to focus on our conversion rate, or we need to focus on the average order value and lifetime value. If we're focusing on the average order value and lifetime value, we're avoiding extra acquisition costs because they are sunk costs. We're spending the money on Facebook regardless of if they add more to their cart or if they come back. We've already paid to acquire that customer, so that is a sunk cost, and we do not need to reoccur that. That means you can add discounts in the post-purchase cycle because you're not paying the acquisition costs. Say an order is worth $100. The first time they purchase, you need to spend $30 on Facebook. That's 30% cost involved with that $100 order. If you're giving them a 10% off discount code and you don't have to pay Facebook again because you're doing it over email, that order only costs you 10% of the sale value rather than 30%. So now you're making 20% more money on that order. So we want to look at cart, checkout, upsells. That's not email, direct mail, retargeting ads. But to do it through email, post-purchase email and SMS flows, you need to have these nailed. Thank you flow, upsell flow, cross-sell flow, VIP flow, win-back flow, replenishment reminders. In the upsell flow, it needs to be immediate. As soon as they order, prompt them to add more items to their cart to increase the average order value. Like I said, for a client, we added 5% doing that. And then campaign strategy, we need to be maximizing for retention, not sales. You don't want to be just pumping sales to your list all the time because you're going to churn through your email list. Maximize for retention, send valuable campaigns, give people a reason to open emails and stick around with your brand. We want to spend 80% of the time not selling, so providing value. Hope this helps. If you're an e-com store and you're struggling with your margins and you're looking a little bit like Gymshark with 2% net profit, head to the link in my bio and we will help you with your email flows. Not my bio, sorry, in the description under this video. We will help you with your email flows, help you get better retention, increase your lifetime value, all of that. Looking forward to chatting. Hope you enjoyed this video.